Hey everybody, welcome back to Do You Really Mean That, episode 2. My name is Olivia and I am joined by my co-host. Would you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Chris.
And our producer.
Hey, this is Derek.
And we have a ton of stuff to talk to you guys about today, so we're going to go ahead and just get straight into it. We're going to start with a Daily Beast article. And the lovely title of this article is Now Far-Right Nutters Want to Boycott Chick-Fil-A. And the first paragraph of this is what really got me. I feel like this is the most unbiased thing I've ever read, and I think Chris will agree with me here. It begins with, ultra right-wing pundits have gone ballistic over fast food chain Chick-fil-A hiring a director of diversity, who just so happens to be black. Conservative blowhards unleash their frustration with the company. I don't know about you, Chris, but I think that sounds pretty neutral.
Absolutely. I mean,
Oh, so neutral.
I remember a time in this country where there used to be a stereotype around something that, no,
Yeah,
that
it's
now,
crazy.
now people are upset. Weird.
I apparently we're just conservative blowhards if we're at least a little bit, uneasy about that idea, though.
Yeah. I mean, it,
And nutters.
those diversity nutters. I mean, oh wait, are the conservatives the nutty ones, or I clear?
They say we're the nutty ones, but
Oh,
I feel like everyone's the same. We're very inclusive here, and so we believe that everybody's on the same, level here, so everyone's just a nutter at this point. I hate saying that so much.
well, I mean, I have my opinions about you, but
Well, of course, everybody does. It's only fair. So I know you had some lines in this article that you
oh,
particularly enjoyed. Why don't you share those?
I was going through this article and there's a couple that just blew me away. There's a political strategist, Joe Managrino,
Yeah, he tweeted
who
about it.
went on a little, and I'll say this is a bit unhinged. I don't know if he was trolling. I don't know if he meant any of it, but he went on a little rant. And one of these things there, and again, this is credit to him, not me. Uh, a quote was, "It's only a matter of time until they start putting tranny scene in the frosted lemonade at this point." Now,
I mean, that's just a thought that you don't want. Like it's a joke. It's got to be a joke, but the thought behind that, it makes you not want anything frosted anymore.
but tweets like this,
Yeah, that's
it
the problem.
makes me understand why anyone would say far right nutters. I mean,
Ultra right wing. Yeah. No, I get that entirely, but it's clearly he's being hyperbolic.
oh, absolutely. Um, I personally have never had Chick-fil-A. I know you
I
have.
love Chick-fil-A. I freaking love Chick-fil-A. Like, I remember after I went to that drag show, I told you guys on the phone I was gonna go get Jesus chicken because I needed to, like, repent my sins. And I love Chick-fil-A. Their chicken's very good. They're so good. I don't know if this is one of those times where I would say I'm gonna boycott a company. I think that a lot of places have HR departments that have some type of DEI, but the fact we're calling it that, I think, is the problem that conservatives have. It's not just another HR thing, it's like a whole department. I think that's where conservatives have an issue. But for me, is it going to make me stop eating their chicken? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to stop me from eating it because I never did. Personally, I prefer my chicken smoked and barbecued,
I
but
prefer mine with Jesus.
hey, as long as you enjoy it, right?
It's so good. It's so good. I don't know what it is. It's just
Oh, you're not the first person that's told me. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm not.
It's
you
gotta be
are.
the Chick-fil-A sauce, in my opinion.
The
Well,
Chick-fil-A sauce. So
may, may,
good.
maybe it will have to go buy some Chick-fil-A here
You
sometime.
know what? That's what we'll do when we finally can all three be in person together. We'll do an episode where we're eating Chick-fil-A. That'll be like our first oh, my neighbor just okay. That'll be our first sorry. I can see out my window. I was watching a duck earlier. You guys obviously if you know me, you know my duck tripod. But my neighbor just walked by staring really intensely at me, so that was weird. But yeah,
Well,
I think we should all have Chick-fil-A and put that on our Patreon, which we can introduce. We can introduce our Patreon today.
Oh, hey, we have a Patreon now, guys. It
We're
will
working on
be
content to put there, but
it will be a link in our video here, along with finding on the YouTube page or on Twitter. Right now, we have 3 tiers, and there's no distinction between the three. Let's be honest. We are planning some content to differentiate
Yep.
them, but if you want to give, great. If you don't, we completely understand.
we
We just
also will
talked.
judge you. No, I'm kidding.
We
I'm
just
kidding. I'm kidding. Kidding.
we just talked to some people and got some feedback, and they asked why we didn't. So
So
after
yeah, maybe you'll get videos of Chris trying Chick-fil-A. You might get videos of me going on unhinged rants that can't necessarily be posted to YouTube. Maybe we're going to get content of Derek saying something bad about Iowa for the first time. You never know what you're going to get in these
That's never gonna
situations.
happen. That you better add a fourth
Okay.
tier for $500, and maybe I consider
Maybe
it.
he'll say something bad, but we all have something we can bring to the Patreon section, is my point,
I'm
and we
looking
all
forward.
will at some point.
I'm looking forward to the one where Derek's trying on the tuck-friendly swimsuits.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, which we're going to get into later in our podcast today. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that because that's going to be a wonderful segment. And I'm sure Derek has so much to say on that as our resident tuck friendly friend. So
I feel attacked, but continue on.
that's what they always say. So moving on, check out our Patreon if you can. We'd really appreciate it. Going back to our topic today, obviously there's a lot of news articles surrounding this, and we have a few articles that are kind of we're poking fun at, obviously, like this one from the New Republic. It is another great one. Now, this is probably my favorite headline, I will say. This one is called "Conservatives Are Now Boycotting Chick-fil-A for Not Being Homophobic Enough." Wow. And then they open up with this beautiful line saying Bud Light apparently went too far after influencer Dylan Mulvaney, who is transgender, posted an Instagram video promoting a March Madness contest. Target apparently went too far by selling shirts with rainbows. And now conservatives are setting their brain poisoned sights on Chick-fil-A for the crime of having an HR department. So there's a lot to unpack in that statement.
Yeah,
No one has a problem with the rainbow.
yeah, I'm most mad that they said it was the rainbow shirts, not the tuck-friendly.
Well, you see, Chris, that would be too truthful for them to post, and so they can't do that. That would be real reporting, and they don't do that at some of these outlets. And so,
I forgot. It's my old age.
yeah, how dare you, you bigot?
But,
Yeah, it's because you're from the Stone Age. You don't remember these things. It's okay, it happens, but
we will talk more about that one specifically a little bit later because there is more to talk about.
yeah.
But yeah, Bud Light went too far with Dylan Mulvaney. Well, yes. I mean, they've lost between Target, Dylan Mulvaney, what, $28 billion in value between the two companies.
Yep.
Yeah, that was too far. I mean, and the people are speaking with their money. They're not supporting the brand at this time. And honestly, I don't think they should.
And you know what? As a woman, I will say that the Bud Light ad, I didn't have a problem with the fact it was a transgender person. I had a problem that it was a caricature of what a woman is, and it was this ditzy. I thought we were all just having a bad month, and I didn't think March Madness was sport ball related. Like, that's what I had a problem with. I had a problem with this caricature of the dumb woman not understanding sports. And if you don't know what March Madness is, like, I'm sorry, but you live under a rock. Even people who are not very much involved in watching sports know what March Madness is. We're not stupid. And so for me, that's what pissed me off so much was that it wasn't just, okay, here's this, like, here's an ad with, it's not that Dylan is a transgender person. It's that Dylan is someone who likes to mock womanhood and then use that same exact type of behavior to mock women with this ad. And I don't know any women, and I don't know any, really, quite frankly, men at this point who pick up a Bud Light and say, you know what? Now that Dylan Mulvaney sponsored this, that's my drink of choice.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to be next? Staying with the topic here, this is about Chick-fil-A. trying to compare these different brands to Chick-fil-A. I mean, comparatively, Chick-fil-A didn't do anything nearly this extreme.
Yep.
Reading the articles, I mean, this person was set in place as their executive VP back in September, and he's actually been working in the DEI stuff since 2020 for Chick-fil-A. So
it's just that they released that statement or whatever with Pride Month looming over us, with the Dylan Mulvaney ad, with the Target stuff. I think everything came at the perfect time for this to be a bad decision on Chick-fil-A's part. The releasing of a statement, the way that it got, the buzz around this entire issue in general, I think really prompted it to be a bigger issue.
Oh, absolutely. And we all know, as you're closing out May, heading into June, companies are going to do this, and it's the biggest dog whistle there is. Hey, look at us. We support you. We support you.
But only the American versions of the companies, not the Middle Eastern versions of the companies. My favorite is like Volkswagen. Middle East won't change it, but Volkswagen, their page will change it. That's kind of stuff. So, of course, it's very Western.
A lot of brands last summer that got called out. I can't remember all of them. Volkswagen was certainly one of them.
A lot of car companies, like GE, I think General Electric was one of them, right?
Yeah. It's interesting to me. You see this happen with stuff going to China too, movies in particular. They'll do all these things to bend over backwards to get their stuff in those countries, but here, no, you're stuck with it. It's got to stay in there.
I think for the Chinese one, I think the two most prolific posters I think I saw was the Black Panther and Star Wars ones where they took out the black characters off the posters. So.
Oh yeah.
Because believe it or not, they're actually kind of racist compared to Americans who generally don't care about that kind of stuff unless you are involved in those communities in which you have to make yourself a victim.
Well, victimhood is really in this year.
Sure is. That's all I'll say there is sure is, because I don't want to make the segment longer than it needs to be. Again, this is like paywall content. You can get these actual maybe longer segments of me talking about this kind of stuff. But if we want to go over and read that DEI thing.
Before we move on from that, I'll give you a little blurb from their DEI. Chick-fil-A Inc. is an equal opportunity employer that values diversity, equity, and inclusion. We make employment decisions on a non-discriminatory basis and remain committed to maintaining work environments free from any form of harassment. It has been and shall continue to be our policy that we do not discriminate decisions or tolerate any harassment based upon sex, race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, citizenship, pregnancy, age, physical and mental disability, genetic information, marital status, medical condition, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, gender expression, military and veteran status, and or any other status, classification, or factor protected by federal, state, or local law. I mean, honestly, at this point, what is the any other classification?
Yeah, can you just tell us what the any other is? Because that's more important to me. And I feel like, again, this is the problem with DEI departments is they push this stuff. They push the microaggression stuff. They push all of it. I don't have a problem with being, inclusive when it comes to certain, like disabilities and stuff we've always seen. Things we've always seen where you can't discriminate against these certain things. Every company has that. But not every company has a designated person to run a diversity, equity, and inclusion department. Well, that's the difference.
Reading the statement where they literally had every possible combination of group, people, everything. It reminds me of at a job I had once where I was a shift supervisor, and the previous supervisor would always, here's the end of shift report, here's what we did, here's what we need to have happen, make the day and the week progress as it's supposed to. And everything that needed to be done, or in their mind needed to be done, they would highlight on them. And that's not normally a problem. Oh, hey, this is a priority. But the problem is everything they put on there was highlighted. I'm like,
they highlight the whole page.
It does me no good. If everything's highlighted, then nothing is.
I used to be very bad about that when they'd be like, highlight what's important in your textbooks, and I would just be highlighting the whole page because I'm like, maybe I'll need this one day. I'm much better about it now, but that used to be something I was guilty of. But you learn that there's differences in what's important and what's not, and what might need worked on and what doesn't need to be worked on.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is a great
I
example.
was very much the opposite. I highlighted nothing, and when I was studying for a test, and this is the type of test I absolutely love. Hey, we'll let you use your notes or your textbook to take this test.
Yeah, open book.
And it was always a trap because I mean, you'd have people, they would be spending so much time searching for the answer that they already knew. Believe it or not, they were searching for
because
the
you want to
answer
make sure.
that they would waste so much time they want to actually complete the test. Whereas I didn't take notes and I didn't open the book once. I was done in 10, 15 minutes and I was able to sit there and take a nap.
I'm a very fast test taker. People have always been pissed off about that. Like like in high school and then in college too, I'd always be like the first one to be done with my exam and leave. And people were like, how do you, and I'm like, because I just know it. I'm not going to sit here like, what are you thinking about? Like, how do you, if you're thinking about it, you don't know the answer that like immediately searching the files in your brain as opposed to just being like, oh, I know this. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, and test taking 101, if you don't know the answer, the second you realize you don't know the answer, move to the next question.
Yeah, and then go back to it at the end.
Yeah, you will. The answer will come to you. Your brain is an amazing. Yeah. It can do multiple things at once. Maybe not Derek's, but
ours can.
For most of us.
Sorry, Derek.
Hey, I'm on the same boat as you, Olivia. I was actually one of the first ones always done with my tests too.
Did you get good grades?
I always got good grades on my tests. Not on homework though.
Okay, but you did tell us that your grades weren't great before. So I am a good test taker because I can take important information, study it, and regurgitate it. And that's the education system that we have. So anyways, going back onto our topic, because you guys will find we will go on tangents on this podcast. And so we make no apologies. It's who we are. But this is the month of loving who you are and embracing it. So I'm just going to stick with that.
And to be honest, that's what this type of podcast is all about. We don't want it to be all serious all the time because there are podcasts out there exactly for that purpose. We want to be real with what we're saying. We want to tie it to our personal experiences and see where those things line up. So yes, more tangents, please.
I did mention though that we are turning this month also into Dinosaur Month. So, just putting that out there.
Yeah, that's true. You did say that.
Go ahead and explain that for me, because I don't think I heard that one.
Well, it's a month to celebrate dinosaurs in the month of June. We picked this month.
It's just Dinosaur Month.
It's Dinosaur Month.
You know how some days are like the day to recognize some really obscure, stupid thing? Well, Derek has decided to hop on the bandwagon and make this Dinosaur Month instead of just Pride Month because that's apparently what the cool and trendy thing is to do now. So he's just hip. He's one of the hip kids.
I am one of the hip kids, and my favorite dinosaur is the T-Rex. Swaggy. So tell me what your favorite dinosaur is.
Okay, that's basic. That's basic.
Yeah,
but you don't like a good Stegosaurus.
I have another one, but I can't say its name.
Well, then obviously.
It's inappropriate. The disappointment on my face. I'm like, is it inappropriate? Yeah.
All right. Before it goes inappropriate here, anything else to add to this, Olivia?
No. I think it is being blown out of proportion, but I also understand the frustration with companies we've deemed to be safe from wokeism starting to have those first signs of turning woke because there's always a small tipping point where you see, and DEI is one of those departments where you start to see that change. So I understand where the concern comes from, but I do think it's over-exaggerated.
In this case, I absolutely think so. They haven't changed their business model. They haven't done anything outwardly that makes me believe that they're going to pull a Target or a Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something to keep an eye on. All right. So our next topic, well, surprise, surprise, we are going to talk some politics here. The 2024 primary season is really starting off a lot like the 2016. We're seeing
for the Republicans.
For the Republicans, we're seeing a massive amount of people jumping into the ring, all wanting to do the same thing that happened in 2020 or 2016 and take on Trump. They all thought they had the right vision. And with Ron DeSantis announcing his campaign last week on Twitter, we thought this would be a great time to just give a rundown of all the people that are currently running and the ones we kind of suspect are going to be running based on what's already been said, done. So we're going to start with DeSantis. Derek, if you want to pull that page up, basically it's his announcement page. I'll give you a quick rundown. I'm running for the president of the United States because I want to lead our great comeback. Our country is going in the wrong direction. We see it with our eyes and we feel it in our bones. Our southern borders collapsed. Drugs are pouring in. Cities are being hollowed out by spiking crime. All very compelling stuff. The only thing I was missing when I'm looking at this, I don't really see what he actually plans to do about it.
Yeah.
When you're going to call it the Great American Comeback, well, tell me how you're going to come back.
And maybe that's, going to come with the rallies and the speeches. And so he doesn't want to give everything away because you do want to hear new stuff. That's what you go to rallies for and speeches for. But again, I do agree that we need the method so we know how he's going to do it. And I think that's something that other candidates have done particularly well, is kind of say exactly what their very niche goals are in each thing. With DeSantis, I think it's, I like DeSantis. As a governor, I think he's a great governor of Florida, and I think he's done some really great work, and I think that he does have the upper hand as far as the reactions, to things that Trump has said. We all know that even before Ron DeSantis started running, we had Trump calling him Ron DeSanctimonious, and he always comes up with these childish nicknames, right? And I'm not trying to just crap on Trump here. I'm just saying this is... he's showing more presidential behavior by not coming back with that and being very respectful, considering the fact that he's being attacked by Trump even before he decided, to officially run. And so that's something I do appreciate, is he does speak very presidential. He does sound very presidential. He's a good family guy. He's got a wife and kids, and I appreciate that in a candidate. He practices what he preaches, and he's a veteran, and so I do like that as well. He's definitely got a fighting chance in this primary, I think.
I think, unfortunately, for him to actually win the primary, he is going to have to get his hands dirty with Trump. He can't just turn the other cheek the entire time, because that's what Jeb Bush tried to do. That's what Marco Rubio tried to do. It didn't work for them then. It's not going to work for just now. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
With receiving donations, and not just the grassroots ones, but from actual big donors, they're going to expect to see something to show that he can stand up to somebody like Donald Trump.
But I think the issue with fighting back against Trump is you have to do it in a way that's more diplomatic than Trump coming in with these insults. And so that's where I think he's going to thrive, is he's going to be able to come back but not stoop to his level, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He won't stoop down and call him like Drumpf or something like that. Instead he'll come back with, I guess as Ben Shapiro would say, he'd come back with facts and logic and use that as a way of attacking him, as opposed to
maybe
here's a childish nickname.
Absolutely, maybe, and we can hope for that. Again, I'm not 100% saying Donald Trump is my man. Honestly, if he has the nomination come November of 2024, I'll vote.
Got to do what you got to do. Yeah.
Because I'm fine with that as the option. But through the primaries, this is where we all have to sit here and say, is this the guy we want to support? Is this who is going to best serve us? Who's going to be most in line with our personal value? I think one of the biggest problems Donald Trump had, especially in 2020, is he didn't promote. I mean, he may have been about the values that he was trying to promote, but he didn't live those, or he didn't project well enough, and he lost key voting blocks even though he gained in other areas.
And that's what DeSantis thrives in, I think, is winning over those, because he lives exactly what he's preaching. And another person, because again, we don't want to spend too much time on specific people, because we could go on and on about, Trump and DeSantis, I'm sure. But another person who's running for president who declared fairly early, Vivek Ramaswamy. I'm so sorry if I butcher that name. I'm very bad at it.
You said it right. I think you did.
I did. I'm
based
so
on
proud
some
of
of the
myself.
podcasts I've seen. So really good. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and so if we can get his page pulled up, Vivek Ramaswamy here, his 25 points for America 2.0 or America First 2.0.
Yeah, we don't need all the
we're going to go over the 5 major things that he talks about, because if you care to see more of this information, please, I encourage you to go read his platform. He does go into detail about what he wants to do, but he has some really great, just quick points of like, this is my goal in office. And then he also has
an
his
in-depth
10 commandments thing. I'm going to find that if you want to go over America First 2.0. I'm going to go and find his 10 points that he has talked about in the past.
Yeah, so his 5 points are pretty straightforward. The first one is revive American national identity. And there's bullet points for each of these, but I only really want to cover the top 1 or 2 of each of them, just because being what it is. Use the military, including drones, to secure our southern border. This is pretty straightforward, and I think something we should all be okay with. I mean, let's be honest. The president's job is to protect and defend the home. How else can we do that? I like the idea of the wall, but I also like the idea of more technology on the border to detect these things. So, I mean, I think this is going to be, in my mind, the best compromise. And affirmative action. Repeal Lyndon Johnson's executive order 11246. I didn't know that was a number, but we all know that. As a white male, affirmative action does me no good. I mean,
even white females are struggling in that one now, because the more points of oppression you have, the better. And so now it's not enough to be a white woman. If you're white in general, it's, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I understand what it did and why we needed it, and I have no problem for at that time. But we're 40 years removed from it now, and basically what it's doing is it's combating racism with racism.
Isn't that something? But it's reverse racism, so it doesn't count, Chris. Come on. You should know this by now.
I know.
White people are racist and no one else can be.
Except unless you're in China and other places.
Well, yes, of course, but, in America, modern day America, white people are the racists.
Then I'm just going to go with the one more point on this one, because I think it's a really good one to talk about. Protect American children. Ban addictive social media under the age of 16 and gender confusion care for minors. I mean,
yes.
Based on our first episode, I think we can all agree with that last part 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, social media under the age of 16, I mean, I would even push it up to 18, honest.
I just don't think that's
it's not tenable. I get it.
But the goal is nice. The sentiment is there.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I get it. We all like that dopamine. Open up our feed and go, oh, somebody liked that. Oh,
but it is toxic for kids, and especially young women, young girls. I can say as a young girl, I did have a lot of, and I still struggle with self-image issues. And you can have 1,000 people tell you you're pretty, but you have one person say something negative, or you see one person you deem to be more attractive than you, and that does a number to your self-confidence. And
I can imagine.
you're competing. That's what you think, is you're competing for a man's attention. And, that's where the feminists come in and are like, you don't need to compete for a man's attention, but you do. Because at the end of the day, when you want to grow up and you want to have kids and you want to have a family and you want to have that unit in your own home, you need to make sure that you are attainable and you are desirable to
Absolutely.
men. And that's the thing, is that there's so many women out there who, they do like breast augmentation, or they make themselves look, so much better with makeup. And I know I was talking to Derek about this earlier. Some women just cake makeup on their face, and this is as I was doing my makeup, and I don't do that. I do dye my hair, but like I don't try to wear too much makeup because I know that that's a standard that has been set, but also a standard that's unrealistic. But it's hard as a 14-year-old to understand that.
So here's something. I hope anyone listening, as a guy, I can tell you, I want you to wear less makeup.
Yeah, I've heard that, but that's something that as you get older, there's more of an appreciation for that natural beauty. Whereas I'm sorry, Chloe's about to attack a squirrel. When you're looking at like you're 14, you see these beautiful women who now all of your guy friends are like following these supermodels, and you're like, oh, I wish that could be me because my crush likes this like supermodel, and she has all this makeup on, and so when you're younger, you don't have, and that's where, and I don't want to get into this argument too much now. Again, this will be another episode, but that's where I think the adult film industry has absolutely ruined young adults and young people in this country, but so has social media and the spread of that. Oh yeah, both. That's what I'm saying. It's destroyed the image of what a real, authentic woman is, instead of these like chopped up supermodels, and it's also ruined how girls think they should look. So it's ruined it on both sides. What's desirable and what's realistic for everybody.
And I know we want to move on, so I'm just going to make a quick point about that. I grew up without social media. It wasn't a thing when I grew up. So yes, these sorts of standards existed, but they weren't 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, everywhere you were at.
Yeah. It wasn't the highlight reel of people's lives constantly in your face telling you need to do better, because that's a problem.
So if I wanted to idolize a model, I had to go buy Maxim magazine to go.
Right.
There was only so many outlets I could find that in. So, I mean, it wasn't every super attractive girl putting it out there every medium possible every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was better back then for that reason.
Exactly. And I think that, yeah, no, I agree. I don't want to get too much into the topic again, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you want to keep talking about the other points that he has on that page.
Unleash the American economy, achieve greater than 5% GDP growth. I would love to see this happen.
I think anything better for the economy at this point, I think most people would
Trump
agree.
got us really, really close to that. And I think he got his hands tied behind his back a little bit. But if he could have actually done it, I mean, it would have been.
Yeah. Well, and I think that if he was able to have a second term, especially getting through this whole COVID stuff, it would have happened. Yeah,
we would have came out on the other side of COVID and been in an amazing position. But sadly, I don't have a time machine. Do you have one?
If I had one, I think I'd use it for other things, but this would still be on the top of my list. If I had one, you know what? We'll make one. That'll be our big, entrepreneur. Donate to Patreon so we can create it.
I'm going to interject a separate point. I'm actually happy Trump didn't get elected this round. And my reasoning is the economy was going to take a dump no matter what, whoever was in office, because of the all the COVID stimulus. If you look at the market, it went from kind of like at its normal rate, and then it just ticked up.
Yeah, we blew trillions of dollars into the hands of the American people, businesses, any project that someone wanted to have function. I mean,
and part of it is Trump's fault.
Yeah,
and absolutely part of it was his.
Yeah,
I mean, the recession was that they kept saying wasn't a recession, was going to happen regardless.
Yes,
but I do think if he was still in office, they would have called it a recession.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They've made it worse now with this. So you had a lot of bored people at home with stimulus checks, and everyone got on Robinhood. I know so many people got on Robinhood and all those other investing apps and started investing in cryptos and all these other things. So you look at everything post 2020 pandemic after the initial crash, that rebound from mid 2020 till the end of 2021, that market rally was just parabolic. And after that, 2022, we were in a basically a market recession, and
Oh, yeah.
now
I took $1,000 in February of 2020, and by July I had turned it into 20.
Well, and that's the thing is, we're more, I guess, financially in tune than a lot of people, and I know plenty of people who got these stimulus checks and they spent it on things that were not going to boost the economy. Investing will help. That's the thing.
Say it isn't so.
yeah,
So I know plenty
investing
of people who got
helps.
these checks and they spent it on not rent, which is, they're like, oh, it's for rent, it's for, housing needs. No, I know plenty of people who were deemed essential enough to continue working, but still
Yeah.
got these checks. And so they were spending it on, I don't know, like any kind of entertainment things that don't matter, things that I say that as I'm sitting here, a business owner who makes things that people buy for entertainment. But what I'm saying is they bought stuff in that the money was not used as intended, and they just printed a bunch of money through it into the economy and said, okay, let's just hope the trickle down effect works and it actually gets spent where it's needed. And that's not what happened.
No. And again, we're going a little bit on a tangent here.
Oops.
See, guys, this is going to happen. I promise you, it's going to happen a lot. Quick one bullet point, and this is one I agree with the most, and I think you're going to see it more among the Republican candidates than you do anyone else. Drill, frack, and burn coal. Get rid of the whole climate coal crisis.
Yes.
Nuclear energy. Please make nuclear
Please
energy.
stop saying it's going to cause a Chernobyl. It's not going to do that. You just don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, if we actually invest money in that infrastructure, that's the cleanest, greenest energy out there.
Yeah, but nuclear, Chris, come on, that's scary. It's a big, scary word for people.
You know what? I've seen some of the mini scale reactors that aren't intended to power 50,000 homes. They're small scale. And that's the direction we should be going.
Chris, you're forgetting that you look more into this than anyone, really, with, any... Yeah, there's no common sense.
I was there when we discovered the atom, so
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, you understand because you've literally been there through everything.
I will agree with Chris though on the nuclear energy, and I hate that people are so scared of nuclear power because of one, what happened in Fukushima in Japan, and what happened in Chernobyl. Those are two very isolated events. Chernobyl happened because the communists sucked at taking care of their nuclear plants.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone was too scared to say anything.
And not Chernobyl, but Fukushima happened because they put a power plant on the coast, which I know there's a lot of them there on the coast, but like...
Understand. Fukushima was a crisis averted. Yes, it was bad.
Yes.
But it was still a crisis averted.
Well, and ultimately, the thing is, when you talk about, like, the communists or whatever, like, you're looking at people who were too scared to talk to their government and say, hey, this is a problem, and it's going to cause an issue. They were too scared of being fired, being killed, and so they were like, okay, if I just don't say anything, maybe it'll go away. I've tried that method in my own life, and I would not use it with a nuclear power plant or any type of nuclear reactor, because it doesn't work in my real life, so I can't imagine it would work on something of that much importance. Because if you just ignore the problem, I promise you it's not going to go away. That's my advice of the day. So
that's how she ended up working with me, folks.
That's how I ended up here. If you ignore the problem, it just gets worse, and then you end up starting a podcast with two people whom you never expected to start a podcast with, and that's how you end up being a complete dumpster fire, like me.
Oh, hey, I
You're
see
welcome.
a dumpster fire behind you.
Yeah, this is Ted. I just named him just now. This is Ted.
Hi, Ted.
And he's going to be our mascot.
We're going to have to remember that for next time. And we'll trot him out every time we talk about something. Let's go through the rest of this really quick, because there are many
more. We'll go over his Ted and truth.
Declare independence from communist China. Pretty self-explanatory. Trump really lit the candle on this, and I think Vivek is got the right ideas. He actually wants to follow in those same footsteps and just take it that much further. He understands this. He's a businessman. We got dismantle managerial bureaucracy. Well, drain the swamp. I mean,
fire the people who are paper pushers that are just working to corrupt the government. Stop giving them these jobs where they can just stick around and
for
mess up the
50
government more and
years.
more.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
please
experts.
put term limits on the Supreme Court. Sorry, that was a little
They're,
aggressive.
they're experts. They're experts. Yeah. And I can be an expert after reading a book, too.
Yeah.
Let's agree that this is a good idea.
Yeah, and
then
I'm sorry.
the
continue.
final one, end weaponization of government and financial market.
Yes, yes.
Quit.
Sorry, I'm getting really passionate.
threatening us
I like
with the
Vivek.
Fed. Quit threatening us with the Fed. Perfect.
Please stop. Please stop hiring IRS agents and threatening me with them. Please.
Yeah.
And then I quickly want to also pull up, I just added it here, the 10 truths that Vivek has on his website. If we can add or pull that one up. Kind of like his 10 commandments, I suppose. Sorry, I'm but a boomer.
Oh, wow.
I cannot
I
pull
like
things up
these.
correctly. I know, crazy. So he quotes Thomas Jefferson at the top, saying, "We hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable." And he goes through, God is real. There are two genders. Human flourishing requires fossil fuels. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is no border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Capitalism lifts people from poverty. There are 3 branches of the U.S. government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest, I can never say this word, guarantor of freedoms in history. So
Yeah.
I don't want to comment too much on it because I feel like those are very self-explanatory if you have a brain. So those are his 10 truths. And then we can quickly touch on the other people who have declared running. We're not going to pull up their pages because it will take way too long to do that. But there are other people who have formally declared that they're
ready?
running.
You ready? Speed reading. We got Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Larry Elder, Asa Hutchinson. Chris Christie is expected to announce next week, along with Mike Pence. And then, of course, the real Donald Trump. Oh,
And then we also have that Yay. I have an inside source with the Yay 24. I don't want to say campaign because it's not elected yet, but the group of people that work with Yay. I do know someone that works in that group and has told me that they have not formally announced yet, but they have a very large budget and are really looking forward to having a kickoff event in the near future. So that's the most I can say. That's the most they would give me. But we do know that he will be running, he will be declaring, and he will be filing shortly. So.
Yes. You know what I noticed about, because I actually went through all these pages, Olivia, as you did too. You know what the one thing I noticed the most when I did that was?
The format.
With the exception of Trump and Vivek, I think they all use the exact same web designer template to put their web pages up.
They
They're
did.
very, very cookie cutter.
They picked the political one. They're like, oh, political office, that's the template I'll use. Instead of making it kind of their own thing, they just clicked that one and filled it in.
So here's a tip for any of you candidates out there that might tune into this show. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Do not. You can use it as a base, but be authentic, be different.
Be yourself. This is what we want.
Yeah.
But then, moving on from these guys, Donald Trump, Olivia, I'm going to let you bring in the next topic because I know you have an opinion. I have an opinion. And dear God, why would he do this?
Exactly. We have a tweet, or a truth, I'm sorry. We have a truth from the one and only Donald J. Trump, who has decided that while turning on so many other of his allies, he's going to now turn on former White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. So he calls her Milk Toast here. I'll read the full thing. He said, Kaylee Milk Toast McEnany just gave out the wrong poll numbers on Fox News. I'm 34 points up on DeSanctimonious, not 25 up. Well, 25 is great. It's not 34. She knew the number was corrected upwards by the group that did the poll. The rhinos and globalists can have her. Fox News should only use real stars. And so there's a few problems with this, but the first being, he spelled milk toast wrong. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that person. It's there's a QUE in there. It's not milk like the drink, the beverage, the thing from cow. Wow, that was a statement. My brain just like stopped working for a second there. And that's the first thing. He's turning on someone who couldn't have not been more loyal to him. He is turning on someone who is reporting the news, and if you don't like the news, that's your choice. But she is a media personality.
And not for nothing, but in my lifetime, I've seen many press secretaries.
Yeah, all of them.
Hands down, she was, in my mind, the absolute best. She didn't have to do the spin thing. She was always prepared. She always had a comment for any questions being asked. And let's be honest.
She's hot.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to go there.
She's hot. I'll say it. She's hot. I'll be the misogynist here. She's hot.
I'm fine with that. But no, she was always prepared. She fought the media, and more often than not, won.
I mean, but I'm saying she's hot because it does help to be attractive in that field, right?
Absolutely.
And so having the support of someone who is that beautiful, also a mother, and she is a wonderful person. I mean, like, she's aggressive. Yeah, that's what you want in a press secretary. But to turn on somebody and call them milk toast and basically imply that they're drab and just not, effective. Yeah. I mean, without her, you would have lost by a lot more, is all I'm saying.
I don't know. Does somebody need to tell Donald Trump that, size doesn't matter?
I think they might need to, but I honestly believe that, like, he is burning every single bridge that he has ever created, and he does not realize the destruction that he's leaving behind, and that destruction is going to follow him.
This has actually been, his MO. I mean, look at how many people who were in his orbit. Some of them probably shouldn't have been there in the first place, but that he literally cut loose the second they couldn't provide any. Yeah. Well, not just that, but they couldn't provide any value to him. Long list of people. And Kaylee is, so what I can't see why he would have ever said this about her.
Well, and this is one of those, I'm laughing because it's just so bizarre. Like, that's just the last person I would have turned on, because it's so surreal to me that you can have that big of an ego that you think that you can neglect somebody like her who's been loyal to you no matter what through so much.
She was the reason that he did as well as he did in that election.
Exactly. And the more you turn on people and the more that you alienate people, like, he's alienating everyone until he has almost nobody left, but thinks he still has. It's like so many conservatives have now come out and been like, you know what, I'm going to disavow this, because he is, now he's really turning on people who have done nothing but be there for him and work for him and help him. It's a betrayal that not only did Kaylee McEnany not deserve, but so many other people that he's done this to, because he cannot shy away from a fight. He doesn't have somebody to say, hey, don't tweet that, because guess what? He would just fire them. So,
it's amazing to me, though, that he did that town hall. He didn't do this type of thing.
Which is so crazy, because he does it all the time online.
Yeah, he pushes back in every other situation. Like you said, he can't not fight like that. But he did the town hall, and he gave his pushback, but he didn't take it too far, and he didn't just keep.
He wasn't childish about it.
I mean, where was that guy when this message went out? I want that guy campaign. I want that
Yeah.
guy
That's
running
a
for
very
office.
rare version of Donald Trump, though. That was 2016 Trump that we've seen in the past, but he's kind of dwindled away since the 2020 election and the 2022 midterms. We've seen a
Well,
different side of him that's way too egotistical to hold a
he,
public office like this and truly expect to get work done.
he needs that time machine to go find that guy again because I
Yeah,
would
we can
vote for
find
him.
him. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's, with Kayleigh McEnany, it's just somebody else, it's just another person on the list that he is gonna keep,
And I think he's going to live to regret that one too. Uh, that's
especially her. The media is such a big player in elections, and now you're neglecting the one big media company that actually would, say some positive things about you.
but yeah, I mean, he is attacking one of his biggest allies, somebody that could actually have helped him in this next run. Hopefully, one of these other candidates are smart enough to maybe try to talk to her and get her on board with whatever they're doing because
I think that'll be DeSantis, to be completely honest with you. If anyone gets her on board, it's going to be DeSantis, at least right now, looking at the field.
yeah, I don't know what her contract with Fox News is right now. I don't know what they're doing as a company, but I got to imagine she has the ability to leave if she wants to, and as long as she's not in the media sphere, I mean, she should be fine.
She's a great ally. So that's just another example we have of kind of how this primary season is going, and how it's really starting to heat up. So
And at the end of the day, we talked about how many of these people there are, and I expect half a dozen more to throw their hat in the ring. And this is a good thing. For the primaries, this is a very, very good thing.
I agree.
It gives us an opportunity for the best person to actually rise to the top. And we should look forward to that. Any other final thoughts, Olivia?
No, I think that's it.
All right. So for our next topic, Olivia's favorite person, entire world,
The whole world.
the entire world is in the news
Really.
again. I don't know if they ever actually left the news. There was a period where they were kind of quiet, but they're back in the news. And they were tweeting. Well, I can't put
Do
it
you want me to
another way.
say it? Do you want me to say it?
Dylan Mulvaney. Um, yeah, Olivia, go ahead and say that.
Dylan Mulvaney is now a straight man. And that is, as blunt as I can put it. And you're probably like, wow, that's so transphobic. I'm going to clip this and send it to everybody you know and make them think you're a hater. Well, yes, I am a hater of Dylan Mulvaney, but not because Dylan is trans, but because Dylan is a caricature of what he believes that women are. And he has a history of using these theatrical performances to do many things, and his latest target has been women, and deciding that he's going to be this, oh, I'm a stupid woman, oh, I'm just so dumb. But now Dylan says, oh, I identify as a woman, but I like women. It's almost like that's biologically the thing that's happening because you're actually a man, so you like women.
But hey, Olivia, here's the great thing. They don't have to say you're homophobic or you're transphobic or anything for making these statements. Guess what? We have Dylan's own words saying this.
It's true. So
So
Dylan,
Derek, you want to play
yeah,
this
let's watch
video?
the video first. Let's play the video first.
So I recently told my parents that I may be a little bit romantically interested in women. And that was a big shock for them, considering the past 10 years of coming out as gay, then queer, then non-binary, then trans. And I think it was just a bit of a shock. So I tell my dad, and he goes, well, I would love to see you get a woman pregnant. And I said, oh, no, she would be getting me. So I recently told my parents.
How'd you like how that ended, Olivia?
Sometimes.
Not what you expected, right?
Yeah. But I have my issues with Dylan Mulvaney, and Dylan Mulvaney, believe it or not, my friend has his issues with me. And that, yes, like personally, like we have beef, and that, you know what, it's fine, it's fine. I prefer that because I think that it's important to speak up about things that you care about, and I firmly believe that Dylan is a mockery to womanhood and girlhood and genuinely believes that he can just call himself a woman one day, wait a whole year, and then be like, aha, I finished girlhood. Are you kidding me? You will never be a woman. You have no idea what it's like to go through girlhood and go through all of these very like pivotal moments in your life. Like I would love to hear about the first time you got your period. Oh, you can't tell me it's because you didn't go through girlhood. You take all the highlight reels of it, the slumber parties and the giggling about boys, and you think, okay, so that's gonna be my thing because that's what girls do, right? That's like, oh yeah, that's what all girls do. Yeah, all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
You're exactly right about that.
absolutely. I mean, Derek. I mean, we grew up knowing this is exactly what girls were like, right?
Yeah, that's what girls do.
100%. I look at Dylan Mulvaney and I only see a beautiful
A
and
woman, a beautiful
brave,
A
woman.
brave and beautiful woman, and
brave and beautiful woman. That's
I
all I
can't
see.
wait. I can't wait for their girlfriend to get them pregnant.
Still trying to work out how that all works, but
You
hey, you
know,
know what?
listen,
I'm
as
always
a
open. No, I'm always open to be proven wrong. So if Dylan Mulvaney
So here's a
says he
question:
can do, I mean she can do it, then
is Dylan's girlfriend a biological woman? Does anybody know this?
I don't know.
Because I mean, I am very curious
But
because
Dylan doesn't have a girlfriend right now that I know of.
I mean, here's the
But
hole in his
potential
logic.
girlfriend.
I mean,
Oh,
Olivia,
here's the hole in his logic.
if you as a woman wanted to have a baby, you would go and get your boyfriend pregnant.
Yeah, that's how it works now. Didn't you know?
I mean, I'm just trying to understand this because
There's
you
no
know,
logic behind it, Chris. There's just no logic, and that's the problem here. Now, I will go on many rants about Dylan Mulvaney and this whole ideology as a whole, but Dylan Mulvaney specifically because it's so offensive to me. And I don't get offended by like much of anything, but Dylan Mulvaney and the way that he is behaving is extremely offensive to me because you literally just take, like I said, you take all the highlight reels of being a girl, and I can tell you plenty of experiences I had growing up, and I've touched on them here talking about the self-image things. Like, there's so many experiences that I've had as, I guess I'm just gonna say an authentic girl, woman, whatever, the real deal here. I had so many experiences growing up and still have experiences today that Dylan Mulvaney will never go through because Dylan Mulvaney does not have the reproductive organs or anything to be a mother. And you can call yourself a mother all you want, but at the end of the day, you don't have the capability nor the capability nor any ability really to birth a child. And I mean, it's not like I'm excited to have kids one day, but I'm not excited to like shoving it out one day. That's gonna kind of hurt a little bit. But it's one of those things where it's so offensive to me because you don't understand, and you clearly don't understand women, first of all. Maybe that's why you liked men in the first place. But like, you clearly don't understand women because women aren't like that. I can be girly, but I can also be not so I guess elegant and graceful as you guys know. I wouldn't call myself graceful in most instances or particularly feminine. Half the time I'm just I don't know. I wouldn't put it to a gender necessarily, but I would
guys,
say that I'm not stereotypically feminine.
I've heard her swear like a sailor. I
It's
ran
true.
before. I mean,
No. I am but a good we Christian beautiful woman. What?
but yeah, I mean, I think that's not just your problem.
What did you say?
I
That's
don't
not my
know.
only problem.
I
Yeah,
cut you off.
yes, continue.
I
Yeah,
cut you
thank
off.
you.
You were spiraling.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was good.
but I mean, I don't think that's just your problem with Dylan. I think a lot of people have that exact. Again, not because I don't genderism something that shouldn't exist. Do what you got to do to make your. At the end of the day, that's what all of us have to do for ourselves. The
Stop
problem is,
mocking me in the process. Stop
yes,
it.
the problem is when you're posting your videos, when you're prancing around in the woods and you're hiking heels. I mean, you are demeaning every woman on the whether they were born that way or they or doing like you, Dylan, and went through your transition for that. I mean, that's
But you're still
still
not a woman.
it's still demeaning. All
You're
of
still
these.
a man too.
Well, yeah.
I don't believe that Dylan Mulvaney is truly a transgender person. And so when I'm talking about Dylan Mulvaney, my vitriol also comes from the fact that I've known individuals in my life who are actually suffering from gender dysphoria, and he exudes negative signs of that outside of the fact that he likes to wear dresses and put high heels on and normalize the bulge.
Hey, I heard Derek likes to wear dresses.
Well, Derek likes to normalize the bulge. We have seen him in a dress.
Patreon.com if you want to see that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, if you guys want to see Derek in a dress, that's going to be at our... We'll put it at medium tier. I feel like that's medium tier material, because it's not like...
And, I mean, if you actually want to see Olivia discuss Dylan Mulvaney in great detail, she has actually posted some videos before. Those will be available on Patreon.
Because they were taken down by TikTok, so
they will go behind the paywall. She breaks it down very, very well.
thank you. I try. I was in a fit of rage that day. I woke up and chose extreme violence that day and decided that that's where I was going to target it because I got really upset. So
I mean, you choose violence a lot, especially when discussing these topics, because I don't know how you can.
correct.
I don't know how you don't.
And, I think that, okay, so here's the thing. And I've said it before and I'll say it now to make sure that we actually have it, up. If Dylan somehow sees this, Dylan, this is my message to you. I would, I do think that you deserve happiness and all that, lovely stuff. I think you deserve to be treated like a human, but I also think that you deserve pushback for the way that you portray womanhood and girlhood. I 100% wholeheartedly believe that if you were going through this as an authentic, true experience and not just posting it online, there would be so much more validity to your claims. And you may actually be transgender, and I'm, missing the mark on that one, and that's fine. But the way that you have degraded women through the way that you have behaved is something that it's really hard to move past and really hard to support you when you do that. And I will also say that if you ever wanted to have a discussion about these issues and, try to change my mind or try to help me understand what you're going through, that's something I'd also be open to. And obviously, respectfully, I would never, sit here and cuss at you or something. I would be open to a discussion like that because I think it's an important discussion to have, especially if you don't agree with somebody. So I'm open to talking to you 100% and having an honest, open, and civilized discussion about it. So that's my message to Dylan Mulvaney. At the end of the day, I think Dylan Mulvaney is a human who deserves compassion, but at the same time, is going to get pushback and needs to hear it. So that's kind of my 2 cents there is, I pray for Dylan. I think Dylan, deserves as much as any other human. Dylan hasn't done anything inherently evil, but at the same time, I don't agree with their lifestyle and I don't agree with the way they portray women. So, yeah.
Well said. I agree.
You're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you.
That ultimately is my issue. I mean, like how it's being portrayed.
Exactly, and that's something I'd want to have an understanding of is why you chose to portray it this way. I guess is the question. Why would you? That'd be my opening question immediately.
What was your baseline for determining this? I mean,
yeah, how did you know you were? How did it? What made you think that that's how women typically behave? Because I promise you, if you saw me, after hours here, you would see that I am an atrocious woman at times. And it happens. Okay, listen, I make no apologies, but the faces that I have made, some of the things I have said in front of these guys, it would scare you. As it should.
Audio clips coming soon. Just kidding.
Yeah, the one video of me singing. I've been known to do some unhinged things and say some out-of-pocket things, and occasionally let the intrusive thoughts win by saying something that may have not, totally been appropriate at the time, and the dead mom jokes and all of it. So, you can laugh though, it's okay. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I think that I don't think Dylan's like that off camera, and I think there's a reason for that, but I also think Dylan deserves, like, we deserve an explanation as women as to why you think that's how women should be portrayed as well. I'm just curious about it.
It's tied into this one. We are. We got to talk.
We could
about
do a whole
this.
episode on Dylan Mulvaney. Maybe that's what we'll do next week. Is we'll do like a short episode on Dylan Mulvaney or just that stuff in general while you're in New York. Maybe Derek and I will record an episode about that because I think that would be a good solo episode.
Olivia can talk for hours.
I do.
So some of you might like that, but
I'll say a thing here and there, and then I'll let Olivia take away, and she can just keep going.
You'll just fall asleep while I'm talking, so I'll just keep going.
Yeah, I'll be done recording.
What else is Dave? Fall asleep all the time, but yeah.
So tied into this story, I mean, we couldn't talk about one without talking about the other.
You mean tucked into the story?
Tucked into this story. Target's trying to protect children by Target. How do we word this? Target protects children after targeting campaign.
Yeah. Sorry.
These titles write themselves, by the way. So I'm going to kick this off with my favorite article on this, and it comes from Babylon Bee. They tweeted this story. Study finds Target going woke has gotten more families out of debt than Dave Ramsey.
I love that one for multiple reasons.
Now, all you women, stop going to Target. Go figure. That was all it was going to take.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. My heart is literally broken over the fact that, like, I just can't morally support Target anymore. I'm so sorry. You guys can't see what I'm seeing, but this duck keeps coming back up. Tripod keeps coming back up to my window, and Chloe every single time thinks it's a different duck, and then she realizes and calms down. But her fur gets really big, and it's really funny. But yeah, so I'm unashamed. I used to love shopping at Target in like their little dollar section, and like I have so many things from there, and it's ridiculous. I love Target. I am basic in that regard. No, I do not want my Starbucks while I walk around Target. Okay, that is saved for when I have gift cards to Starbucks that people have given me, and I decide to get like a hot chocolate or something. Because for some reason their coffee, like it depends on like the drink, but most of the time it makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But anyways, I absolutely love Target. Okay, I am what the kids would call a hoe for Target. Can I say that on YouTube? I think I can. And so,
I think if you're calling yourself one, it's okay.
Okay, cool. So yeah, and I wholeheartedly believe. Huh?
As long as Derek and I aren't the ones calling you that, it should be okay.
Oh yeah, perfect. Well, you can just nod in agreement. But I am a 304 for Target, and or 403.
304.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm a 304 for Target, and I will make no apologies. The only apology I'll make is that I am sorry to all my other Target lovers that this company had to do this to us. And the girls get it. Okay, this is the one thing I will say. Like, if Dylan Mulvaney was like, oh, yes, I'm a girl, I'm going to Target, I'd be like, yes, like, that's exactly how we act. But that's not what's happening. So that's why I look at this and, so I can say it here that, like, I do believe, a lot of women just stereotypically like Target. I'm sorry. It's something in our DNA that tells us we have to. But I love Target, and so I am very upset that this is a company that, at least in the meantime, which I don't think they'll apologize, so probably for a very long time, they won't be able to shop at. Heartbroken? Yes.
So, Olivia, why is it the Babylon Bee wrote this article?
Oh, duh. Sorry, I went on a rant here. I was just thinking about how heartbroken I was over Target. I forgot about the subject at hand. But Target decided that they were going to introduce their Pride wear, as most companies have been doing, right? A lot of clothing places have been introducing Pride wear. But they decided that they were going to put it at the very front of the store and include a section with tuck-friendly bathing suits. I know we have an article that has a bunch of information, but if you scroll down to where it says what are tuck-friendly swimsuits, you can see that there are bathing suits that say tuck-friendly, extra crotch coverage. Now, look, I'm just going to say, as a woman, if someone bought me this bathing suit, I can't imagine that it would hide everything effectively, considering there's, like, extra coverage and extra fabric. I feel like it would be a little too loose. because that's just not how most women's bathing suits are made, obviously, considering,
Oh,
you
believe
know,
it or not, they're not like that.
isn't that weird? So it's, this was in the very front. So when you walk in the door, you hit the dollar section, and then you usually hit their like seasonal clothing section, or their, kind of more like, they have Black History Month stuff. They'll have Christmas stuff. They'll have sometimes like Hanukkah stuff, depending on,
Yeah.
time of year, Easter stuff, St. Patrick's Day, all that lovely stuff. But then they put this giant section for Pride, and they have not. Now, I want to make it very clear because people are kind of misconstruing this. They haven't removed the items from the store, but they have moved the display to the back of the store. And that's, it's an important distinction that they didn't remove these products. They're still there and they're still able to be seen. They're just in a different location in the store. And that, I would argue that that's not enough. Just rip off the tuck friendly tag at this point. Just take off those tags and people are going to be a lot less pissed off. Like,
well, until they get the products home, find out they got too much extra material there.
Yeah, and you return it, whatever. It was also a problem that it was like right next to like a children's Pride section, so it was like literally right there. They have onesies for infants that are Pride themed, and that's just weird. They have they have stuff for cats. They have like I am guilty. I get those like cardboard houses for my cats. I know I can just use Amazon boxes, but these ones are too cute. It says the feline diner or something like that, and it's really cute, the one I have now. My cats love them, and so I try to get those for them. I try to rotate them out, but I can never get them in June because it's always like a Pride themed thing, and it's really annoying to me because I'm like, I'm not gonna make my cat gay. Like, she doesn't know anything. She knows when she's fed, and she knows who I am, and that's about it. And so, like, I'm not gonna, like, that's just weird to me that you would theme something with your pet around that.
Oh,
Like, weird.
it's like saying your cat's a vegan. They didn't choose that.
You did.
You chose that for them.
Right. She's too stupid to know anything. Like, both of them are. And I'm not gonna be like,
for kids, having friendly stuff for kids, having any of that shit available for kids.
It's not the kid's choice.
Not the kid deciding this.
Exactly.
There.
In response to this, sorry, go.
It's just the weirdest thing. And again, we kind of covered this, but as a woman, are you going to go out and buy a swimsuit that has this extra space for any reason? I mean, would you think of doing?
No.
I mean, I can't imagine that would fit an actual woman properly. So, therefore, you're literally only making it for this one group of people. And even then, I still don't think it's going to be fitting the way you want it to on those people either. I mean, I don't understand how you hide that. But again, with Dylan Mulvaney, we're supposed to normalize the bulge.
No.
I know.
That was just my authentic reaction. Sorry, guys.
More ASMR stuff from Olivia. No, it's just, I don't know what the manufacturers are thinking to do that.
I don't know.
One, do they really see a market big enough for such things? I mean, I don't see that.
Yeah.
Two, why would a retailer put this stuff at the front of their store to begin with?
Well, and then their response has been interesting, I think, as well. So not only the materials, but the response. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My cat's playing with like a coffee stirrer on the ground right now. That I must have missed the trash can, and she's decided that that's her new toy because forget all the other toys I've ever, bought for her, that she wants the coffee stirrer. So we're going to pull up a tweet here from our friend Chris Bertman. If you haven't seen our episode with him, that was our last episode. Please go check that out after you're done watching this one. He tweeted this. Bert. He tweeted this, and they have a threat overview, which they have. They released this just following the backlash, and it says, as the political and social tensions rise ahead of the 2024 presidential election, Target will face a continued increase of physical security threats related to our commitments on contentious social issues and including support of the LGBTQIA plus community and Pride Month. Online campaigns and boycotts that emerge regarding Target's Pride merchandise have the potential to motivate extremists to violence. Recent extremist focuses are sexualization of children, gender issues in drag performances. Guests may experience their opposition to Target support and LGBT blah 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 community in general, or to specific Pride merchandise throughout the disruptive incidents in our store, or by making threats of violence. Our Pride merchandise may spark disagreements among team members or prompt concerns that Target's values don't align with their own. Physical security risks will be highest for team members within the LGBTQIA community. So if you're not part of that community and you work for Target, screw you. We have not seen any indicators yet in 2023 that raise concerns of a unique risk to Target. Our retail competitors have similar positions supporting the LGBTQIA community and Pride-specific merchandise assortments. They're basically saying, they're doubling down, and then they're saying that, first of all, the sexualization, in quotes, of children, that was a good one. It's funny because that's exactly what you're doing, so stop putting quotes around it.
Wait, what? Why would a child do it?
Is the math not mathing, Chris?
The math broke.
The math stopped working. Well, math is racist anyway, so, what can you do? But, yeah. I don't want to talk too much on this one because it just infuriates me so badly. And again, we now have a paywall for stuff like that. But it's very similar to kind of what we said in the last video when we were talking about the targeting of children. And they think that they are protecting children and protecting and supporting LGBTQIA, XYZ, hashtag sign children. And so they're not. I'm sorry. You can't sexualize children into a specific sexual identity and then tell me that you're not grooming them and that you are protecting them. That will never be the case, and I would have no problem if this was stuff available just exclusively for adults. My problem is that you're now bringing kids into this, and you are deciding that you're going to sexualize them, and then double down on that. Don't double down on that. That's the wrong thing. Don't do that. Bad idea. Stop that right now. Please bring back the Target that I know and love because I miss that Target. I do. I'm sad. I am heartbroken. I am hurt. I'm
just happy you're no longer going to spend your entire paycheck at Target.
It was only half of it. Come on, Chris. But I am,
I saw the receipts.
Hey, whoa! You've not seen the receipts. You have only seen the bags. But I do like Target as typical, but I do like Target a lot, and it does make me sad that this is the stance that they've decided to take. And so if anybody out there wants to join me in starting a Target that's actually based and conservative, let me know, because we will find where they get this merchandise from. We will create a Target, and you know what? We're not going to call it Target. Shoot, I can't come up with a witty name right now, but we will come up with a witty name that will be better than Target, because we will not be targeting children, and it will actually be a place where we sell almost all the same things as Target, but we're the alternative, the conservative alternative. I like the way that sounds. To Target.
Maybe go with Women Are Us. You can have a giraffe.
Some men like Target. Some men like Target.
Yeah, they're.
Don't call them gay.
I did not.
You were thinking it. Thinking it.
There's 100% chance I was thinking.
You're bald. I can see through your head.
Hey.
Oh, that was so unhinged. This is like one of those times where the intrusive thought popped out.
She chose violence this morning, folks.
Chaos and violence. I'm so sorry. So, anyways, I kind of want to wrap up here. But I'm not even joking about like an alternative to Target. So if anyone knows anyone who would want to somehow figure out how that works, because I can't do it by myself, and I'm also a poor student. So if anyone wants to help me figure that out, Vivek Ramaswamy, I know you've started companies in the past. I got you.
Maybe Ye will help you. He's big into fashion stuff.
Okay. Anybody that wants to help me create these alternatives? I would do it. So that's my business offer today. If anyone wants to take me up on that, please don't take my idea and not credit me. I am now trademarking it right here, right now. I am saying that is my intellectual property, and if you take it, I will sue you. So, anyways, that is kind of the end of our show for today. We really appreciate you guys sticking along and sharing the show with your friends and doing all those great things. Do you have any thoughts to wrap up today, Chris or Derek? I will include Derek in this since we're wrapping up the episode. I will let him be included.
Oh, I have many thoughts to wrap up today.
Oh no.
One,
Continue on.
Chick-fil-A can still be supported just because they have the DEI department now. They haven't done anything wrong. Two, we like to see the primary field being what it is. I like that chaos. I think that's how we're going to get the best candidate for the job. Don't attack your most loyal supporters. I'm talking to you, Mr. Trump. Do it. It'd be like me attacking Olivia. It's just a bad idea. She's feisty,
You don't
guys.
want that backlash. I am.
I'm scared of her.
Yay! Oh, sorry.
And then I'm not even going to give another thought on Dylan. I put too many thoughts into that person today. But
yeah.
We all know that these things are happening that disagree with that. Again, Olivia says start other things, parallel economies, however you want to do that. Absolutely. Let's do that. Let's move it forward, or as our good friend will say, forward the line. Don't give
Shout
up
out to Raymond G.
Yeah, don't give up an inch. Move forward every time. I'm rambling. You, Derek?
Any thoughts in closing?
For me, no. I think you guys kind of wrapped up everything I probably would have said. So I think
He doesn't have many thoughts, anyways, guys. That's why he's the producer.
Well,
sorry. I'm just roasting everyone today. I'm so sorry. I will not roast our audience. Okay, yet. No, I won't roast you guys. But yeah, I think that's kind of Chris said it very well, even though at the end he started to just like ramble. But it's fair because I do the same thing. But I think that we really enjoy covering these kinds of topics, guys. If you have anything else that you guys can, maybe send in. I know next week, we might next weekend try to do a live episode next weekend. I know Chris will be going to New York next week, so we won't be pre-recording. And if we do, it'll be a smaller episode with just Derek and I, unless we get a guest host on, which is also possible. So that's kind of our plan in the upcoming week here. But if you guys want to follow us on social media, you can follow the podcast at DYRMT Podcast on Twitter. Go ahead, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Like this video, share it, all that good stuff. If you want to follow us personally, my personal Twitter is Olivia Claire with 3 A's at the end of Olivia, 2 E's at the end of Claire. If you want to follow Derek, he's at Real Derek Menson on Twitter. And Chris is from the Stone Age, so he does not yet have a Twitter, but when he does, we will inform you guys. But if you like what Chris is saying and you want to follow him, go ahead and follow the podcast Twitter. He does primarily tweet on there, and every so often Derek and I might contribute, but he does run our Twitter account as of right now.
And if you comment on the video itself, I'm more likely the one that's going to respond to you there too. So I do read the comments. I enjoy them.
And of course we'll read them and we'll try to do our best to sign off on, and if we respond saying who responded to you, we'll try our best to include that. If no one signs off, it's probably Chris who forgot to sign off on the thing. There's a good chance that's what's occurring there. But
there's
again,
almost 100% chance that it was me.
Yeah, and I would sign off on it so you'll know if it was me. And then
so
Derek.
If I want to, use Chris as an excuse and say something.
Yeah, there you go. Just don't sign off, yeah. So
I might have to rethink the policy.
I'll just sign off as Olivia and then say something.
Please don't do that. I don't want your thoughts to be my thoughts. That's terrifying. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, sharing this video, liking, subscribing, all those beautiful things that everyone always tells you to do. If you could actually do them, we'd really appreciate that. It would go a long way for us. Please don't forget, we have a Patreon now, so that'll be in the link of this video. We'll also have it on our Twitter. If you guys want to support us, we will be coming up with content here in the next week that we can start to incentivize you guys with. But do know that we will be posting stuff on there for our Patreon members only. That's important material to have for you guys because we appreciate the support so much.
I thought of an ask. So, Patreon asked us to name our subscription tiers. Put in the comments here what you think they should be. I got basic, intermediate, and hero. But
Hey, I got it. We can use our names, and I'll be top tier.
well, I mean,
I like that. Is that a good one? That's a good
you're
one.
the expensive one, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. I am a woman. We can put tripod as the top tier or something. But yeah, if you guys do actually have like legitimate names that we could name them, that would be actually wonderful.
We are open suggestions, absolutely.
And we are, yeah, my brain stopped again. I'm sorry, guys. But thank you again so much, you guys, for tuning in. We will see you guys within the next week here. Again, if you have any suggestions, please reach out to us on Twitter. And we'll work on an Instagram and other platforms at some point. But Twitter's our main one right now because we all understand how to use it. So it took a while to get Chris on there. So, Anyway, we will see you guys next week. And thank you so much for the support.
All right. Peace out.